I see a lot of requests, and I hope you're all doing well. The weather seems to have turned better for everyone. And I'm just going to bring in our Instagram friends, and then we will begin right away. And I have some extra requests from Michael and Esther. And there we go. Sorry for the delay. So let's begin with our three-part process, our Tongren therapy process. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. That's how I teach it. So blood flow to the brain. So initialize that. Then the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system, kind of like the yin-yang of our own existence in the universe. So let's begin right away. We'll work with Esther right away. Painful joints, left SI, which is the sacroiliac, kind of a joint between the hip and the tailbone and the sacrum. The bladder and TBI, traumatic brain injury. And we have our guests here. Blood flow to the brain. So I recommend everybody sit and relax. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose, and hold your breath. And just relax, activating the relaxation response. Command points of the brain and brain stem. So we have a great set of techniques we have for actually initializing the brain. And everything I ever learned in school meant that the brain is kind of important. So command points of the brain to initialize the central nervous system, the bioelectrical communication, initialize the endocrine system, which is the biochemical communication system of the entire body. So for Esther, we want to increase circulation. And I'm going to sit back a little bit so you can all see my hands for all my students. Command points of the brain stem, especially GV17, cardiac respiratory vasculatory center, and that's part 1, and then part 2. And welcome, Dorothy, and Acu Yoga, good to see you. Vertebral artery, spinal artery, activate the entire spine. And one thing you can do to even enhance your therapy treatment is to put your mind at rest. Close your eyes and follow the chi, and put your mind where you want to focus your healing, and it will bring chi and blood circulation to that area. So I'm always curious where people are coming in from. I think we have some people from, actually I know we have people from Canada, from Western United States, Eastern United States. But let's continue. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, anti-inflammation for everyone. Anybody there on Facebook? That would be great to. Yep, Dorothy, Mansfield, Marshall. Good to see you. So for Esther, blood flow, nerve flow. So the blood flow is T7 to the lower extremities. The nerve flow is the lumbosacral plexus to the bladder and the SI joint areas. and sacrum 1 to 5 for the tailbone. Catherine, you're here on Facebook. Say hi to Mark for me. People were asking before about the castor oil. So there are some things that have been around for thousands of years that have worked amazingly well. Aloe, wheatgrass, castor oil. So I just received my first castor oil kit. Castor oil goes deep for accelerating lymph drainage. It's usually used with liver cleanses because it accelerates the cleansing of the liver as you're doing a detox. And then for the TBI for Esther, we want to do C1 to C7, nerve flow, and then blood flow, sky window, and GB13 left side, right side. So let me have a show of hands. Who has ever used or is familiar with castor oil? It's kind of brilliant. It's another magic bean. But it's an oil you put on an area and it accelerates lymph. When you accelerate lymph, you accelerate detoxing and reduce inflammation and pain. Pretty smart stuff. So anybody with specific lymph areas or breast cancers, kidney, liver, spleen areas, you can do it. And sometimes it's a good recommendation to do a poultice with clay and castor oil together as a poultice. And I want to see if people can hear and see me okay. It looks like it's okay. No, never had to use it. Wow, kind guest. You do castor oil packs several times a week. So, what do you think about it? I think it's brilliant stuff. Glad to hear that you're using it. And what if you might share with us a little reason about why you're using it? That would be great. I've done liver gallbladder cleanses before using castor oil packs. And hello to Bonnie Burnham. A lot to talk about tonight. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, and TBI, left side, right side, TB13 for Esther. And next is seborrheic keratosis, tight neck and shoulders. Is that a skin condition or a fatty deposit condition? If you could give me more information on the seborrheic keratosis. But I'll definitely work on the tight neck and shoulders. All right, lots to talk about. We have mycotoxins. One of the easiest things you can do to reduce inflammation and increase your overall circulation of your lymph, which is a great detoxing agent, I would always recommend to follow it on with clay or Epsom salt, foot soaks or baths, is you put it just below the belly button, which is a major central area for the lymph. So it's kind of a little lymph tune-up. So let's continue on with tight neck, shoulders, gum, and teeth, and we'll also work on the eyes, the ears for Catherine. Blood flow to the brain. And we'll work with Mumashari next. Blood flow to the brain, brain command points, and brain stem command points. Just relax, everyone. Feet flat on the floor, palms face up. Breathe through the nose. A good trick for relaxation is longer exhales and inhalations. So push a little bit when you exhale. So neck and shoulders, the shoulder release point. Gallbladder 21 at the top of the shoulders. The insertion of the trapezius at the occiput would be a lot of tension as well, because you think of the trapezius muscle, a big sheet of muscle, big triangle of muscle, and it holds, and it's basically tucked into the bottom of the skull area. So we want to release that. Shoulder release points of the shoulders and the neck, the SCM area, sternocleidomastoid area. And Acu Yoga, you're coming up next as well. But as we're working here, we're going to work on macular degeneration. So, blood flow to the eyes, sky window, and facial artery, internal and external, superficial and deep, I guess. So work on the ouch point of the eyes and the nerves for the eyes, C3. So blood flow, nerve flow to the eyes. One of the best herbs I've seen, eye bright. Yep, eye bright herb, good for tea. Herbal tinctures. So C3 for the eyes, but C3 also for the gums. And for the gum health, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. And thank you for joining us, Fran. And Esther, Masterpiece Maker. So also inflammation, the microbiome, the gut, T11, T12. And for those that are interested, I'm having a free webinar about 30 minutes after we finish tonight. People are interested to learn about our cleanse program. So we have a colon cleanse coming up in September 3rd. So people are interested to learn what it's all about. So I just wanted to be available for a few free Q&A about 30 minutes after we're finished. I'll give a little presentation what colon cleanses are all about and why they're good. But it's kind of a fun foundational cleansing process, along with detoxing with clay and other things. And they can be done through Zoom. I just ship people the materials. And you can always ask me questions here. We should have a link, or if you're on the website, there is a link I have all my events listed. Digestion, absorption, elimination, and inflammation to 11T12, L4, and L5. Let's do some more work for the macular degeneration and for the gums, and work on the ouch points. Work on the jaw, on the eyes. Bring chi there. Put your mind there and breathe into, as we say in martial arts, breathe into that spot, and it will increase blood circulation and the immune system will follow. So where is everybody coming from? For example, Acu Yoga, I think, are you from Connecticut? I think that I recall you being from Connecticut. And grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. So Dorothy Mansfield Marshall, nice to see you. Your request is please tap for macular degeneration, which we got, yes. Wet macular degeneration, left eye. So let's do some more. We actually did that. Yep, we actually did that. And we'll do some more on that right now. And then Jenny Elizabeth Finn, right inner elbow, triceps, tendons. Yin yoga, Yin yoga is good for the deeper nourishment and strengthening of the fascia deeply. When you hold the yoga pose longer, it goes deeper and it heals more profoundly. So yin yoga is a good one. The faster you go, the more superficial, the slower you go, and even holding 2 to 3 minutes as they do in yin yoga, you would actually continue to nourish the inner fascia, even the elbows and different things like that. So blood flow to the brain. This is a great company for a ready-made kit for castor oil. Not sure what company you're using. Tracy and Michael. Nice to see you. Great. Yep, I have your list. I got your list right here, Tracy and Michael. And you're coming up. Yep, I won't miss anything for you guys. Blood flow to the brain. Triceps and tendons. So let's work on the blood flow and nerve flow, which would be the brachial plexus and the spinal artery for Jenny. And then the ouch point, the actual target point of the triceps, tendons, and the insertion points. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 to reduce inflammation. And where is... Oh, okay, yes, I skipped a couple, but we're going to do that next. We're going to do bone marrow and craniosacral fluid and bone points. So for now, we'll work with Jenny, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Lower back, which would be lumbar 1 to 4. And for the legs, the lumbosacral plexus. But the pain, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, there are some amazing things you can do for pain There are these fermented turmeric with black pepper gummies from My Kind company, Garden of Life. They're brilliant. Fermented turmeric with black pepper is probably the most active turmeric and anti-inflammatory herb you can get. So activate the whole spine for Jenny, and then the outer point in the legs, especially bladder 54, in the back of the knees to support the legs, and the feet. Spleen 6, liver 3, grounding, and kidney 1. So let's work for the bones, the bone marrow, and the lymph. For Carol, and then for Happy Mama, blood flow to the brain. And next we'll work with Bonnie and Acu Yoga. Acu Yoga, if you have a request, or you're just hanging out, which is great. Blood flow to the brain. Initialize the bioelectrical systems and the biochemical systems of the entire body. So we're going to work on CML and perfect blood. And tired eyes. So this is what I use for tired eyes from computer work. It works great. See if you can see it. Simulation computer eye relief. It's a homeopathic, no side effects, but it works great. You take it a lot, take it a little, it works super. Simulation is the company name. And you're talking to somebody who's sometimes sitting in this chair 8 to 10 hours a day. And when COVID hit, everything shut down, and I was here for a couple of years. T123-478. We're going to talk about neuropathy in just a moment, Bonnie. So let's work on the bones. T1, perfect blood, CML, healthy blood. There's an exercise you can do to flush or replenish your spleen. If you a breathing exercise, what it does is when you hold your breath, it tells the spleen add oxygen from the storage in the spleen, and athletes do this to increase their oxygen levels in their body. So you do this for 5 times. You breathe in, say count to 5, breathe out, count to 10, hold for 10, and then do this, breathe normally for a little bit, then do this again briefly after about 5 times. It will actually release stored oxygen to the body, and it helps athletes have better performance. But for all of us, it's going to help to boost our spleen. So the blood, T1. T1 for the bones, GB39 for the bones. So we focus on the bones and the bone marrow because that produces our immune cells. And CML and perfect blood requests are to make sure we have good, perfect blood production from the blood platelet white blood cell factory, the bone marrow. So to support that even more, we want to work on the craniosacral fluid for everyone. So from the starting point, gallbladder 789, the sphenoid bone, to the tailbone 1, 2, 3, 4. Cranial circle fluid nourishes the spine and nourishes the bone marrow. And accompanied with all of that is a lymph tune-up. Blessings and gratitude to you as well. So anybody with any lymph requests, I highly recommend the castor oil packs. For anybody with cancer, I highly recommend the aloe vera juice with the Essiac herbs and inflammation. So those two things, as well as the wheatgrass, which is really good for cancer, but especially injury and neuropathy. So those kind of my three main go-to things, along with clay and the herbs that we use in the colon cleanse and the clay detox program. Colon cleanse is just 7 days. One, two, three, 4, 7, 8. So let's do a lymph tune-up. Let's call it the castor protocol. Axillary lymph. Lymph collects in nodes. The biggest lymph node of the body is the spleen, which we're going to work on. T7, left side. Axillary lymph, inguinal lymph. So anybody interested in coming to the free webinar, you can join us. And the lymphatic duct to release the lymph. And make sure we've got everyone. And then grounding to liver 3. So let's work on the spleen. Spleen 6, a very powerful point. 3 Chinese meridians, spleen, liver, kidney join, or they come together. In Chinese, it's called San Yin Jiao, 3 meeting of the yin. Liver 3 and kidney 1. So you will have your perfect blood, your circulating lymph. So a couple more for physical things. We're going to work on cervical spinal injury and then the ouch points. We will do some more work for the actual elbow. So let's work on those. And then sore and tired eyes. And if somebody could give me more detail on seborrheic keratosis, I don't have, I could look it up real quick, but I will get to that. So let's continue cervical spine. So blood flow to the brain. And Michael and Tracy, good to have you with us. Command points of the brain. Command points of the brain stem. Cervical, C1 to C7. Both shoulders, so shoulder release point. And then the ouch point, rotator cuffs, biceps, and elbows. Rotator cuff, best way is front and back. Lung 1, lung 2, rotator cuff, the corners of the shoulders. Rotator cuff, best way is front and back. Lung 1, lung 2, rotator cuff, the corners of the shoulders. Rotator cuff, best way is front and back. Lung 1, lung 2, rotator cuff, the corners of the shoulders. Rotator cuff, best way is front and back. Lung 1, lung 2, rotator cuff, the corners of the shoulders. So again, for the eyes for everyone, vertebral artery to the spinal artery, sky window and facial artery to the eyes, C3 for the eyes, and the ouch point for the eyes for tired eyes from too much computer work. Welcome to America. And grounding to liver 3, kidney 1, G group. That's us, Eric. So next we work with prostate cancer, energy, endurance, esophageal cancer, and Bonnie, rectal cancer. So we're going to work on the cancers together, and we'll talk about cancer a lot. For tips, if you think of the core causes of cancer, which is oxygen deficiency and hypoxia, you want to reverse that. So one of the best ways to do that is through ozone or ozonated magnesium oxide, which floods the internal body, the entire digestive tract with oxygen. That's one method. Other ones are through increasing microcirculation, through things like infrared light and things like castor oil and PEMF technologies, blood flow to the brain. COVID kicked your tails. Yep. Global pandemic. Blood flow to the brain. So for all the cancers, we do the oxygenation system. So in a couple of parts. Sky window and phrenic nerve, which manages the diaphragm, which manages oxygen. Yep, so Bonnie, Michael, and Tracy, you guys are next. And then kind guest. So the oxygen increasing protocol. Phrenic nerve in the sky window to CV17. Lung 1, lung 2, Chinese medicine super points for oxygen in the lungs. CV17 and T6 for the diaphragm and breathing in oxygen. Breath work, resistance breathing are techniques for increasing oxygen. Longer exhales help. Nasal breathing compared to mouth breathing increases oxygen in the body by 20%. Free. So specific cancers, esophageal T8, lumbar 2 for the prostate cancer, S1 to S5 for rectal cancer. And we're going to work on neuropathy in just a moment, and glaucoma and eye floaters. Hope you can see me on my Instagram. I think I've given you guys a lousy look here. Let's see if anybody else is on Instagram. Oh, only about 35,000 people. Not bad. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Anti-inflammation, more inflammation, less oxygen again. Hi on Instagram. T11, T12, L4, L5. Buzzing with chi, great. So for the cancers, esophageal, T8, prostate, L3, rectal cancer, S1 to S5. So blood flow, T7, and nerve flow, lumbosacral plexus, and lumbar 3 for the prostate, T8 for the esophagus, and S4, S5 for the rectal cancer. So Michael and Tracy, chronic pain, especially in right shoulder, back of knees, elbows and fingers, anxiety and depression, stress, feeling of overwhelm, and slow processing speed with average intelligence made excruciatingly due to perfectionistic expectations. So definitely the relaxator would be a good fit for that, because it's a breath retraining tool, which would be great. Blood flow to the brain. And Bonnie, work on your neuropathy. Is your hand neuropathy? Okay. Glad the rectal cancer is doing better. Command points of the brain. Command points of the brain stem. So for neuropathy, a good way to help nourish the nerves is vitamin B12, a good one with 3 parts. And vitamin C, they rebuild nerves. So those 2 parts to help preserve and regenerate your nerves. Those are really good for it. So the the brachial plexus, these are the nerves in the shoulders that lead to the hands. And can you give a little more information on the thoracic outlet syndrome? So I can guess, but I want to be accurate for you guys. Brachial plexus for the neuropathy in the hands. Anti-inflammation, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. So for the castor oil packs, everything I've learned, you can alternate the belly button area, the liver area, and then, as I mentioned, I always suggest to complete the process of detoxing, always use clay would be the best recommendation. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. And we have not missed your delayed sleep. So chronic pain, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Anxiety, GB13. C1 and GB13 right side. Processing speed. Sky window to the brain. Yeah, please do B12. There's a really good B12. There are three kinds, the main kinds of B12. There's methylcobalamin, hydroxycobalamin, and adenosylcobalamin. So you really ideally would like to have all three of those. And you should always take B12 sublingually because it can be destroyed, 95% of it, in the digestion. So you need to do it sublingually, like a tincture or a tab. And then for Tracy, right hip pain, T7, blood flow, nerve flow, lumbosacral plexus. And let's go right to the area, right in the groin area, both of those. And sleep apnea, again, the relaxator device would be really good for that. Lymphatic duct, stress, again, GB13, and grief related to the lungs. Lung 1, lung 2, the Chinese medicine points. T3, lung points. And griefs, the heart, CV17. And the glaucoma, we don't want to miss that. Glaucoma and eye floaters for Bonnie. C3 for the eyes. And the floaters, CV17 for the glaucoma, which deals with pressure. That's the cardiac, respiratory, and vasculatory center. Vertebral artery to the spinal artery. Broken right foot. Delayed sleep phase syndrome. So that's the Tong. So two things. What controls your sleep is your pineal gland and melatonin. So you need to, fluoride can actually gum up your pineal gland. I think it's fluoride, or is it calcium buildup? But the pineal gland can get buildup. So stop drinking fluoridated water. Focus on Tong area. I'm sure you've tried melatonin and valerian. That's my guess. Tong area. I wonder if you're in a black, dark room for a couple of days and stayed awake, it would reset that. I don't know. It's just a wild guess. Vertebral artery to the spinal artery. Down to liver 3 and kidney 1. And the ouch point, so blood flow to the foot, T7, right side, nerve flow to the foot, lumbosacral plexus, and the ouch point. Blood flow to the 3 and kidney 1. And welcome Maureen and June. So, kind guests, multiple chemical sensitivity disorder, I would highly recommend 2 things back to back, the castor oil packs and clay for detoxing, to remove those chemicals that basically saturated you, so that any additional chemicals will put you over the edge. So you need to detox from those. And there are a few things you can do to remove those chemicals and to get rid of those, but you've had it a long time, so it must be very difficult. So we've worked with Michael and Tracy. Oh, keratoses are those curly brown moles. Okay, I only know them as curly brown moles. Okay. So kind guest does a lot of the poultices. So let's work on the skin and glaucoma, intraocular pressure, absolutely, optic nerve atrophy. And then ease Hashimoto's tune-up. Blood flow to the brain. Command points to the brain. Thoracic outlet syndrome. Blood flow to the brain. Blood flow down the spine. So for great user, we focus on the brachial plexus down to the left hand radial nerve and the wrists. So that would be a good opportunity for the wheatgrass balm or spray to re-educate and reconnect the brain wound connection. So lumbosacral brachial plexus for the arms and the fingers and the carpal area. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 for the arthritis, any itis. And Bonnie will make sure we get that again. C3 for the eyes and glaucoma. And we have another person for glaucoma as well. So that we C3 for the eyes, GV17 for the pressure in the eyes, and C3 for the floaters and blood flow for the regeneration of the eyes. Sky window on both sides for Bonnie. So she states, my muscles died, I had a major car accident. So I would definitely rub magnesium oil or castor oil and use clay packs to silica and which is good for silica and collagen and vitamin C, all those things to rebuild those muscles. And how's it going after this year? Fairly long recovery. Your wife diabetes, so that's insulin resistance. So reducing your fat intake to 10 to 20% can greatly reduce your diabetes, T1, 2, 3, and your cholesterol. And the relaxator or sleep tape for sleep. So let's work on inflammation, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. And Maureen, we didn't forget you, GB13 right side. Pituitary, GB20. And then the Hashimoto's, thyroid, parathyroid, C6, C7. So always check and rule out Epstein-Barr virus, because a lot of times autoimmune conditions are just misdiagnosed viral infections such as Epstein-Barr virus or bacterial Lyme infections. So you need to rule those out. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Arthritis, pain on the knees, ankles, toes, shoulder and elbows, tendonitis. So shoulder release point. Lumbar 1 to 5. Sleep. So C3, 4, and 5. The throat area for sleep. Sky window, oxygen regulators in the carotid arteries. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. T1 to T12 for thoracic outlet. So toes, ankles, so blood flow, nerve flow. T7, right side, blood flow, brachial plexus, lumbosacral plexus for the nerve flow. So for the toes, the ankles, and let's work on the ouch point of those. Thoracic outlet, T1 to T12, thoracic 1 to thoracic 12, blood flow, vertebral artery to the spinal artery, and then T1 to T12 for the thoracic outlet. And for everyone, a tune-up for clarity, GB13 right side. And down the entire spine. I'm just checking. Frozen shoulder. Okay. We'll work on the frozen shoulder. And kind guest, you're housebound. I'm sorry to hear that. Email me with your details and we can come up with some other ideas as well. Blood flow to the brain. Let me look up. So again, kind guest, autoimmune conditions, multiple chemical sensitivity. Your body is basically saturated with either viral infections and inflammation or toxic chemicals. So once you start to detox, two-part process, cleansing internally, even through colon cleansing or herbs and foods. And then part two is the clay to continue and complete the process. Blood flow to the brain for one more round for everyone. We want to make sure we don't miss anybody. Command points of the brain. GB13 for clarity again. And then we'll work for the bones, bone building, bone marrow. And for June, blood flow, nerve flow, so vertebral artery to the spinal artery. So frozen shoulder, so we do the shoulder release point. So people, if they want to talk, there's a link for like a free 15-minute, what they call these days the discovery call. Or if you just want to set up a full 1 hour time to talk and work out a plan, we can do that as well. Lots of choices, natural choices. So brachial plexus for June. We also want to work on Bodhi, who has heartworms. That's a dog, wonderful dog. We want to work on Les for the prostate, and Drew, who's having a lot of struggles. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 for Drew. Brachial plexus and radial nerves down the arms for June. And for Jay, colorectal cancer as well. So for diabetes, it's if it's type 2, it is insulin resistance. Ideally, eliminate all animal fats. It has no fiber and high in fat, high in inflammation. Plant-based fats are better, but still you need to go within 10 to 20%. Insulin resistance is caused by fat interfering with the uptake of insulin in the cells. So it can't escort glucose and remove the glucose, the roaming glucose in the blood. You can read a book called The Cure for Diabetes from Dr. Gabriel Cousens. I actually worked in his place in Arizona for 3 months. So look up that book, The Cure for Diabetes, Dr. Gabriel Cousens. I think Neil Furman, or Neil Barnard has an excellent book on diabetes as well. Neil Barnard. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Again for the thyroid, Hashimoto's, autoimmune, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. GB13 for clarity. For everyone, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. But let's finish up with a nice bone regenerating tip. There's a great product called Grow Bone. 6 prunes a day is really good for the bones. Certain herbs for silica for the bones. And clay, which is mostly silicaceous acid and precursors for the bones. T1 for the bones. TB39 for the bones. Cranial sacral fluid for the bones, GB789 to the tailbone. Tailbone 1 to 4. So let me know if anybody's interested in the free webinar or joining our colon cleanse, which is part one of the 2 parts of our cleanses. So you cleanse the colon, and it's an oxygen flooding process developed by Tesla in 1895. And then the part 2 of the process, which is in October, to complete a full detox, which is 2 weeks of clay to complete the process. Clay binds electromagnetically to toxins, and it alkalizes the body. So thank you very much, Mumashari. Awesome to see you, keeping in touch with our community. And let's do a little extra focus for Les, Drew, Jay, Bodhi, Michael, and Tracy, and Esther, and Happy Mama, June. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we can focus real quickly on tapping for spasms on your back and anxiety. So that would be a lack of oxygen. So brachial plexus, we get a last minute request, but we don't want to miss anyone. Phrenic nerve, CV17, all for the dieter. The ouch point of the spine, but add oxygen, vertebral artery to the spinal artery. There should be a link for the 15-minute call up at the top of the chat where you put in that number there. And you can book your own, and if that's not a good enough time, let me know. We can make adjustments, especially if you're in other parts of the country or the world. And again, grounding and anxiety for everyone, GB13. So let's do that. GB13, and then charge the battery for everyone. Hope to see you in about 30 minutes for the free webinar. Or any questions you have about cleansing, detoxing, castor oil, Tongren, which is magical. It works great. And let me know if you get that link for the 15-minute call. If not, text, send through email privately your email address. Great user. Thank you. Okay, energy down and clearing, clarity and clearing. Thank you for joining. Hope to see you all next week. Let me know how you all doing. In terms of week by week, we have some improvements for people in addition to the Tongren, which is very powerful. You can do other things from other angles like acupuncture, massage therapy, herbs, special oils, and different healing things. So thank you very much, Faris, optic nerve, all of these things we got. Hopefully you're all set. And we will continue to support each other. Thanks very much. Oh, and last thing for the thyroid, that company that I work with that does the castor oil, there is a thyroid specific pack, castor oil pack for the thyroid and for the throat. So check that out. Thanks very much and have a great day, everyone. Thank you very much.